For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. Recently, I discussed Scottie Pippen and his new book, Unguarded, wherein he talked about how without him, Michael Jordan wouldn't have championships, and how Michael Jordan ruined the game of basketball because everybody just wanted to dunk and score, and nobody was willing to pass and play defense. He also mentioned several other things like how Phil Jackson may be racist and different other issues that Scottie Pippen may have been upset about. And mainly the book was written because Scottie Pippen was upset because the Last Dance documentary was more about Michael Jordan and less about him or anyone else. So now Scottie Pippen seems to still be upset with people and things and ideas and situations where somebody might be considered the greatest at their sport. And Scottie has taken it upon himself to call out Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is the quarterback who's been to the Super Bowl 10 times and won 7 rings. Tom Brady is the quarterback who's been to the Super Bowl 10 times in 21 years of football, which means half of his entire football career, he's quarterbacked a team to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is the quarterback of the last team in the NFL to complete the regular season undefeated. He set scoring records with his team. He was the first guy to throw 50 touchdown passes. Tom Brady has done a lot of things. But Scottie Pippen doesn't think Tom Brady is the GOAT, the greatest of all time in football. And his reasoning is the fact that Tom Brady does not play defense. Scottie Pippen feels that since Tom Brady does not play defense in football, he can't be the greatest of all time because he only plays on one side of the ball. Now, let me see if I understand this. So, we're going to say that Tom Brady, because he doesn't block or tackle, is not the greatest of all time in football. That would be like saying that Wayne Gretzky or Gordie Howe were not the greatest of all time in hockey because neither of them took a shift in the goal as a goaltender. Or that Pele or Diego Maradona wasn't the greatest of all time in soccer because they never took a turn in goal as a goaltender. Or, let's see who, Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. None of these guys are ever the greatest of all time because they didn't pitch, or because they didn't play all 9 positions, because they didn't catch, because maybe they didn't take a turn at second base or third base or whatever position they did not play. Whereas Babe Ruth pitched. So he's a pitcher, he's an outfielder, he was a batter. Maybe he's the greatest of all time. So what Scottie is doing is he's diminishing Tom Brady simply because Tom Brady didn't play every position in football the way you're forced to do in basketball. But the problem with that is that when you choose a sport, you choose a sport because of what's required. Tom Brady chose football and elected to be a quarterback because he was the one who had to know the playbook better than anybody else. And he's got to be able to get the ball to other people. And he is the one guy. Of course, you can count the offensive line in most instances, but Tom Brady as the quarterback is the one guy in football who is more than likely going to play every snap in a game. Defensive linemen get rotated in and out. Linebackers get rotated in and out. Running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs, they all get rotated in and out. So except for the offensive line and the quarterback, nobody else plays every play on their side of the ball. Not even a basketball player plays every play on his side of the ball. So Scottie Pippen, if you're going to sit here and say that Tom Brady is not the greatest of all time, then maybe you need to do like Wilt Chamberlain did in 1962, and maybe you need to play every minute of every game. Because that's what Tom Brady does as the quarterback. He's in the game every play that his team is on offense. And he's the one who touches the ball on every play. Yeah, there's some direct snaps to running backs and some bootlegs and option plays and different stuff like that. But over 22 years of football, Tom Brady has touched the ball 95% of the time his teams were on offense when he was available to play. So to say that with all the records he's amassed, with all the times he's been to the Super Bowl, with all the quarterbacks he's defeated, with all the numbers he's put up, most passing yards, most passing touchdowns, most completions, everything else he's done, To say that he is not the greatest of all time, and consider that right now, today, he's leading the league in passing yards. To say that he's not the greatest of all time is just Scottie Pippen being petty about the fact that he was not the greatest of all time in his sport. Are you going to say that Usain Bolt is not the greatest track star of all time because he didn't long jump, or that Carl Lewis is not the greatest track star of all time because he didn't run hurdles, or that Serena Williams is not the greatest of all time because she didn't win at doubles or mixed doubles? Oh, wait a minute, she did. Or because she didn't defeat men, wait a minute, she did that too. So what are you going to do? You're going to nitpick each and every sport? Tiger Woods isn't the greatest golfer because he didn't play left-handed. Muhammad Ali, Floyd Patterson aren't the greatest boxers because they didn't win championships at every single division, from flyweight to heavyweight. Where's it going to end, Scotty? Where's it going to end? What I'm saying to you, my friend, is this. Stop feeling sorry for yourself because nobody ever said you weren't great. All that happened was Michael Jordan produced a documentary, got paid for it, and the documentary was mostly about Michael Jordan. That's all that happened. Nobody ever said you weren't great. Nobody ever said you weren't a champion. Nobody ever said you weren't one of the 50 greatest, 75 greatest of all time. The only person underrating you, Scotty, is you. You right now are your own worst enemy. So my advice to you, my friend, would be stop talking. Stop trying to say who's better than who. Accept the fact that you made more money during your time with the Bulls than Michael Jordan did. You have 6 rings just like Michael Jordan did. Oh, by the way, Robert Horry has 7. You were an all-star. You were all NBA. You were all defense. You did everything a player could do in basketball. You never won an MVP, but so didn't a lot of other people. Charles Barkley has an MVP, but he doesn't have a championship. You have 6. Karl Malone has an MVP, but he doesn't have a championship. You have 6. So stop feeling sorry for yourself because The Last Dance wasn't about you. Recognize how great you are. Recognize that you are as great as you want to consider yourself. And let other people determine who's what. Let other people talk about this stuff. And you just revel in the fact that when people talk about great basketball players, they're going to talk about Michael Jordan first. But you're going to come up soon after. Accept that and let that be enough. Maybe you should, but you probably won't. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. And follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1 and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think.